Behind me in Dinosaur National Monument, you see some of the most diverse and expansive views of my entire journey so far.
After a year traveling to 160 national parks around the country, that landscape was just one of the reasons Mikah Meyer was so enthralled by his latest parks adventure.
It was incredible. I have never seen a river canyon this close to massive valleys that were shifted upward that look like giant ski slopes of lush green grass that are also right next to white snow-capped mountains.
But the park, which spreads across the states of Utah and Colorado, is also home to a large number of dinosaur bones, many of which are still visible embedded in the rocks. Through a series of exhibits, visitors get to see and feel just how massive the giant animals were.
That would not feel good if that ripped into you.
They've found tons and tons of dinosaur bones that are now in museums from New York to D.C. to my hometown of Lincoln, Nebraska.
After his experiences on land, Mikah returned to the park a couple of months later to see it from a different angle.
What really struck me the first time I came to Dinosaur National Monument was these impressive, unique rock features. And now to be able to see them up close from the water was incredible.
And there was a wide variety to explore.
The geology is getting particularly awesome. You can see these kind of pancake-like features in front of me. This view is pretty epic. These rock ripples were deposits of rock that were upturned and now make this curved shape that we see shooting up from the river to the sky.
There was also an added benefit to Mikah's park adventure. From the start of his journey, he and his tour group were joined by an unlikely fellow traveler.
I noticed there was this little goose that was hanging out on the beach. And then we got in the boat and we started floating down the river, and this goose was swimming right up next to the boat. About 5 or 10 minutes later, the goose was still with us, and my buddy Tom jokingly said, "I think he's just going to come along for the journey. We should name him. Let's call him George."
George followed the group on water.
George does not want to be left behind.
On land.
George, you better pick up the pace. You're slowing us down.
And even settled in with them at their campsite.
It became very apparent that George the goose had attached himself to us, thought he was either one of our group or we were his new flock. Wherever we went, George the goose was going.
Right up until the very end.
Hey, Georgie. Georgie's following us.
Dinosaur National Monument is now among Mikah's top 5 favorite parks.
It really is a special place that seems to be a hidden gem and that I hope other people will get a chance to explore.
With or without a goose. Julie Tabo, VOA News, Washington.